stuff with you guys. We have Chelsea and Sherry right now. We have a couple more that's going to be hopping on. And just kind of want to talk about their experience with the Academy and answer any questions that y'all may have in regards to what their experience has been so far. I don't know who wants to go first, Sherry, Chelsea, whoever. But would one of y'all want to talk about what y'all were doing prior to joining the Academy and kind of what made you decide to join the Academy?
You want me to go first? Okay. Before the Academy, I was babysitting. I had my 3 kids at home. Also took care of 2 to 3 other kids. So long hours with very little money, wherein I was stuck at home also. So I grew up around having like a home daycare, so I always thought I wanted to do that, but it just wasn't challenging. I think I was getting bored. I was bored and not making enough money.
That makes all the difference in the world. So let's see. So how did you hear about the Academy?
Well, with COVID, I was homeschooling my oldest for kindergarten because we didn't want to send her to public school. So I was in some homeschooling groups, and Tiffany happened to be in one of those. And there was like a random post like, what do you do outside of homeschooling? Like, what do you do for work? And she's like, I teach people to be bookkeepers. And I had thought about, like, I had looked into like bookkeeping before. But you always don't know if a thing is a scam or not.
Right.
But since I found her like I knew she was a real person, it wasn't an ad. I read her book pretty quickly. And so I found her organically through that. So it's a little different than a lot of people, but
yeah, for sure. And what made you decide to end up taking the leap to join the Academy?
Well, I tried doing the like the self-paced one. I don't remember exactly what it's called.
DIY.
That DIY, that one first. And I got one client, and it did help like set up my business real well. Like getting my LLC and all the different steps I needed for that. Because even though I had a home daycare, I apparently hadn't done that correctly. So it did help with that, but I quickly realized I needed help with marketing. I didn't quite know how to do the marketing right, or how to actually reach out to people. And I have learned having that support when you run into something that you don't know is very nice. So I bought the DIY course in like August, and then by November I joined the Academy. Awesome. But I didn't launch my business till September. So I think it was like the end of August I was setting everything up and everything. So
awesome. Let's see, did you have any concerns or anything when you were trying to join the Academy? Or you just felt like it was just the best decision for you?
I mean, there was always the concern, is an investment, but after watching, I think some of these lives, and like my husband trusted me and we got the funding to do it. And I mean, I paid it off within 6 months with just cleanup work. So, and he has said multiple times, it's the best decision we've ever done.
That's awesome. So tell us, Chelsea, just a little bit about like your journey so far since you've joined the Academy and what that's looked like. You've kind of came up on your year and stuff already. So what's that looked like for you?
So when I joined the Academy, I had like one very small client. She was a new business. She'd only opened that year. And then since I have I now have, I counted yesterday, I have 33 businesses I help, which is like
Congratulations.
29 businesses because some of them have, multiple businesses.
Right.
With 2 more hopefully signing in the next week or 2.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I went from with babysitting in January, I only had 2 kids. I only made $1,000 a month. Yet I was like locked at my house from pretty much 6:30 in the morning till 6 at night, which made it real hard for like doctor's appointments. I could never go to any of the school stuff. Which during COVID wasn't a big thing, but like preschool and all. And now before I take out all my expenses and taxes, I make about $7,000 a month.
That's
And
awesome.
I work my own schedule. I was able to go to my daughter's Halloween party. My son's
Yeah.
preschool's not doing anything, having people come in, but I can bring my kid. I have a doctor's appointment for my youngest on Friday that I can go to, like I'm doing. I just have a better schedule now, which was part of my why. So
Yeah. Awesome. So it's been total life changing for you so far.
yeah,
Just a year.
yes, between my business growing and my husband getting a promotion and then he's got a new job, we are going to be making 100K more a year.
Awesome. Congratulations.
So
That is super exciting.
it's been very life-changing. We're going to Disney in January. I have to say that quiet because my kids don't know.
Awesome.
So that wouldn't have happened probably without this. We would have had the money.
Yeah. Super exciting. So what kind of what all have you encountered like mind block wise and stuff as you've been going through the program and just building a business, being a business owner, and then how have you overcome those things?
I have a pretty good mindset, but I know we do a book club with our mindset calls, and my favorite one was The Secret, which was the like first one we did. Just putting it into the universe that this is going to happen, this is going to work, these are my clients. People tag me now when they say this potential is my client. So I've
That's
said it
awesome.
so many times on
Yeah,
posts.
exactly. Speak it into existence.
I've started like after I have a call with someone, I will say their name, like Bob is my client. He's going to sign next week, and just keep saying it. So I've gotten a lot of that out of that one.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Let's see. And we already talked about that. So what's been kind of your favorite feature of the academy for you, or the most beneficial to you?
There's so much different stuff now from since when I first joined. We've added so much. I pretty much still go to the original ones. But the office hours are so useful because if you run into anything you need help with, you either can ask it on, the big group Zoom, and that helps other people learn, or if you need to share your screen. There's been a few clients that there's been multiple times a week I have to share my screen in breakouts. My class tracking e-commerce clients is so much fun. Yeah, that's my new fun one. But that one's probably, I always get on the mindset ones. I get on the marketing ones when I can. They happen to be during pickup for my preschooler. So
Yeah.
I can't get on them very often. I'll be able to get more on during breaks and next year. But those are the ones I get on the most, is office hours, mindset, and the marketing. I wish I could get on, like, I know Casey does QBO basics.
Yeah.
That's right during dinner or Girl Scouts. Like last night it was during Girl Scouts. So, but we have so many different ones now. I know we have the the tapping ones.
Yeah, the EFT with Eileen, quoting calls now. Yeah, we're constantly adding so many and try to do them at different times. That way everybody,
Yeah.
you can make at least one or two, something fits somebody's schedule. So
And then is Becca back after having her baby with the
Becca's back.
helping with setting up stuff? I didn't get on that one much because I already had my business set up. So
Yeah, she's done. So Becca does the set up your business for success. She's also been adding in some Canva training and stuff in there as well. So those are great if you want to make like graphics for your business and stuff.
she just had a baby too.
Yeah. Yep. Most definitely.
The babies in this group grow up too fast though.
I know.
Because Vanessa's is already 6 months old. 6 months old.
I know. It's so crazy. Hard to believe. Okay, let's see. So what has been the most meaningful experience for you in regards to the academy?
Probably the support. It just gives you the confidence that you have that back. If you don't know something, you have people that find you. We don't only have bookkeepers in there, we also have CPAs, so you can ask tax questions. Things are ever changing in this world. I know we're already starting to get a lot of questions about 1099s for January. I've seen quite a few of those in the group already, but just having that someone to back you up, or if you don't know something, it gives you the confidence to have that, and just having, other grown-ups to talk to.
Yeah, most definitely. And to touch on the 1099s and stuff, Meryl is doing some 1099 Zoom calls with us. In fact,
Is it?
Yeah, one start tomorrow, and then I think we have either 2 or 3 in January. So we have several coming up that'll be super beneficial for all of the 1099 questions that everybody's going to have with the new year.
1099s are due at the end of January, so
Yep. So
January's a fun time.
Yeah.
But this is the best time to be starting this business too, because tax season, people need their books done so that they can file their taxes, so they can file those 1099s.
Exactly.
I went from that one client that she paid me like $100 a month to, by the end of January, I had 1,200 just from people signing on. And a lot of those I didn't do as cleanup because they handled their 2020. But I could start fresh because I'm like, if you can handle that, I can start going forward for you. And so that they won't be scrambling this year. It'll already be done if they answer my questions.
Yeah. And then now you have that reoccurring revenue every month versus, I mean, yes, cleanup jobs are great, but the reoccurring revenue is what it's all about.
I've always been more focused on the reoccurring than the cleanup. If I lose money on the cleanup, I don't care. I have the reoccurring. It's just a bonus for the cleanups. Yeah,
most definitely. I agree. Okay. Let's see. Do you have any advice for anybody that might be on the fence about joining the academy right now?
That just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just jump and do it. It's changed our lives so much. Both me and my husband work from home now. You can see his chair in my background. He even just got a new job, so he doesn't have to go back in the office.
Yeah.
And we love it. Some people don't, but we do. But it has changed our life so much. We are going to be getting a new house next year, and because I'm actually making money, we're probably going to be able to get like double the house than what. That's awesome. And we're able to do on trips and stuff.
And to say that you were having some issues trying to come up with your dream board because you have accomplished.
I had hit so many of my big goals were just to get out of babysitting, to make another one was to make the same amount he made, like bring home the same, which now that he's gotten raises and a new job that he gets more money, it's not that, but just pretty much I had like a full-time job income, unlike I did, So yeah, making up my vision board for next year was difficult because I'm like, a lot of my goals have already hit. And like a big one was we are getting a new house, and we're saving up for that house and, fixing this one up a little bit, but it's like, I can't think of anything else.
That's awesome though.
I'm not supposed to hit, like, we're gonna do that in the summer. So it's like, well, then after that, what do we do?
Then what do I do?
So
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah, doing my vision board I had to like rethink of like, okay, where am I taking the business? And decided I probably will eventually. I have one employee. She's a 1099 contractor that helps, and I might be eventually get another one she helps with like my day-to-day bookkeeping. And I might get another one that's kind of with cleanups, help me with the cleanups if I get lots of cleanups at once, sort of thing.
Yeah. Awesome. We had a question on the Facebook, and I don't know if like how you funded the program, but trying to figure out ways to get funding. Did you go through the funding specialist, Chelsea, or?
We went through the funding specialist that they recommended. So it was like a loan. I know some people have asked family to help. Some people have just done it on credit cards they've had.
Yeah.
There's been some people who have done it with like PayPal loans or something.
Yeah, PayPal has a credit line as well.
But yeah, we did it through the funding that they suggested on the discovery call.
Okay. Awesome.
And it has like no penalties for paying early or anything like that. So like as I got cleanups, I just paid it off faster.
Awesome. Good deal. Let's see. Hannah said, if I get admitted into the academy with no accounting experience or anything, no LLC yet, how likely is it that I will be able to get clients during this tax season? Is that even possible?
Yes. I had very little experience. I had done some, I worked in a very little JCPenney. Like most JCPenney's, are bigger. This one was like the size of like the kids department in a bigger JCPenney's. And one of our back people had retired, and they asked if I wanted to go in, and pretty much all I did was like count the cash and count the checks, make sure, the words on the checks match, sort of thing. So not quite bookkeeping, but in that aspect. And then I had a little bit of accounting classes in college. But other than that, I don't have any experience, and I have over 30 businesses I help now. So you can definitely do it without experience. I know Megan didn't have any experience.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that. I had absolutely no bookkeeping experience whatsoever whenever I first started. Everything that I've learned, and like I said, now I'm a mentor, head of student success and stuff. So, everything I've learned over the last 2.5 years has been from the academy or from other mentors or whatever the case may be, doing client work and stuff. So yeah, most definitely. You can definitely gain clients. I got my first client 2 weeks after I finished the program and officially launched my business.
Yeah, you just have to have the confidence that you can do this. And a lot of people don't mind if you tell them like you're in a support group, that if you run into something you don't know, you have them to ask. I usually also tell them that we help each other with mindset and marketing also. Like it's not just that. And they're like, oh, that's great. And I've run into like things I'm like, I'm not sure about that. Let me see what my other bookkeepers and people say.
Yeah.
So they usually don't mind if you're in some sort of, especially if you tell them like it's not just for bookkeeping, we help with marketing and mindset and all the millions of calls we have now. So many.
Exactly. And everybody, even the clients I know, like for me personally, clients that I work with, they don't know everything about their business. There's a lot of times where they're going to tell you they don't know, they need to go research the answer. So a lot of people have a lot of respect for you if you say that, and that's where the group comes in handy, because we have over 400 people in the group right now, that you can rely on for answers and stuff. So you have knowledge from all different expertise for sure.
There's usually someone in the group that's had that industry, if not multiple people,
Exactly.
depending the industry or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, but it's a good group. I don't want to ever leave it.
In fact, you signed up for another year. Saying
I
that.
did sign up for another year. They sent me the email. I'm like, yep, we're doing this. Yep.
No questions about it. Yep.
So,
Let's see. What is the draw for clients to move from using a CPA to using someone who is just starting bookkeeping?
so some CPAs aren't as detailed. They just kind of want the number for the taxes. Some of them are going to be detailed, not all of them, but they're more focused on the detail. They might not be as there for your client. Like they're not, if your client has a lot of questions and stuff, CPAs are very busy. They're very hard to get a hold of usually. And they might also not offer monthly bookkeeping, like monthly reports. They might only do quarterly reports, annually reports, sort of thing. So, and there's CPAs that don't like to do bookkeeping.
Yeah, most don't. Most charge a lot to do it. We have one local to us that a potential had reached out to me and said was going to charge them like $250 an hour to do their bookkeeping. So yeah, I mean, a lot of CPAs just don't want to do it. That's not what they got in business for. So
yeah, I have a few CPAs that I'll refer out to. I have my favorite one that we like jump on calls. I've gotten a few clients from her and I always give her name out first. And she's told me she's like, you're the best. I sent her a Christmas card and she's like, you're the best partnership I've made all year.
That's awesome.
But she hates to do the bookkeeping. So
yeah, exactly. So you're a huge blessing to her to do that, take that off her plate. All right, Sherry, how about you? Tell us a little bit about you before you joined the academy, what you were doing and your experience and stuff.
So I was a full-time stay-at-home mom, but set out on an experiment and got into this. But I do have a master's in accounting and was in corporate accounting where I was doing financial statement audits under CPAs and actually pursuing my CPA license, and then kind of gave that up, went corporate where I was a general ledger accountant. And so month-end close I was, in charge of, and then went full-time stay-at-home mom in 2018. And in 2020, had a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, 13 months apart, and started tinkering with how do I pay off these student loans and things like that. And eventually was like, I'm a chronic hobbypreneur, I guess, where I was always trying to make money. Kind of grew up that way. And someone approached me, I had created a profile on Upwork because I was trying to see if my husband could do it to make money doing something else. And had a client ask me for financial statement modeling, and I was like, I could do the analytics. I can do that. That would be great. And he actually helped me set up my business and everything, and was like, great. And that was September of 2020. After that, I took on a couple of cleanup jobs on Upwork, and then in November took on a massive cleanup and totally undercharged for it, kind of did hourly. It was a mess and spun my wheels a lot just because I didn't know the most efficient way to translate what I was doing in the corporate world to what we do here. It was just, I didn't do it the most efficient way possible. And it was equity accounting, so it was a little more complex than just your service-based industry.
Yeah.
And just to really mess everything up. So at that point, I was like, do I want to do this? Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. This has cost me sleepless nights. And there's so much around that. So some of that was purely mindset of like making it harder than it needed to be to justify the money that I was earning on it. Definitely came up in that. So after that, I was like, if I'm going to do this, I need someone to help me do this efficiently. Like my motto that right before I joined the academy was I need efficiency in my business. And then hired a like fractional CFO to help me in the business, and that hasn't really worked out. But joined the academy so I only had one client when I joined the academy in May, but I had also done a busy tax season as a stay-at-home mom. Again, not efficient. So my motto was just all efficiency and how do I do this to be like, I feel like some days I'm the odd man out in the academy because I'm like, I don't need adult time. I don't need to work to prove myself. I don't need to be a workaholic. I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like that is my goal. And so there are sometimes where I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I feel like the odd man out in that sense. But so when I joined the academy, I actually had one quarterly client and had just made like, I think I made like 20,000 doing taxes. But it wasn't going to meet my goals doing that. Like,
Gotcha.
so
Yeah.
I was looking for the monthly recurring revenue and I knew I needed the coworker to, if I had a question, I needed to be able to pop into the coworker's office and say, brainstorm this with me. And that's where the office hours have kind of been that like for me, where I can just, hey, I'm procrastinating on something. I need an answer, or I don't know why I'm procrastinating on this. So I'm just going to ask in the office hour calls.
Yep. Yeah, I say that all the time. I mean, even 2.5 years later, I love the fact of having people to talk through things with, more than anything. So what was that kind of your deciding factor then to join the academy, just to have that support and those coworker kind of atmosphere?
I joined the academy very overwhelmed. I was now pregnant, right, and coming up on maternity leave and trying to grow a business. I had set some pretty massive goals that I wasn't meeting, and just needed help. Like, yeah, so I needed to solve the overwhelm in my own. Yeah, that's definitely why I joined, was to solve some of the overwhelm.
I'm looking at I don't know if somebody has music playing. They said it's kind of hard to hear over music.
Sorry, it's totally me. I'm at a co-working space today because they have childcare, and gotcha. I can't do it.
No, it's okay. I'm just reading comments on Facebook. I can hear you, but apparently they're having a little bit of trouble. No, that's okay. Okay, let's see where I'm at with questions. So now that since you've joined the academy and everything, how has life kind of changed for you? And what does your life look like now compared to prior to joining?
So I know you and I have talked about this a lot, but mindset has been so huge. So for instance, my husband, he's got a PhD in engineering. So problem solver to the max, dreamer, not existent. Last night he came home, and yesterday was his birthday. He came home and told me, I want to do X, Y, Z. And it was so huge. His mom actually laughed. She thought he was joking on something he said, and it's not a joke. He's dead serious. Like, so bookkeeping for us has definitely become like, in just my business in general, because I offer some CFO services and things like that too. But for us, it's how do we get, he wants to leave his job. So for us, it's open that door. So we're actually closing on our actually dream house this week so that we can move states in May so we can be around grandparents. And that was never an option before. So just a mindset shift on, you know, what do we want in life? How do we orchestrate the life that we want without being told what we do? Because it was still like dictated by his job and what he believed was possible. And while I was a stay-at-home mom, it was, you know, he wasn't going to the parks with us. We weren't doing weekend events. It was just this like, well, we have to do landscaping on the weekends because that's what you do. The mindset of, well, no, the priority is to go spend time with the kids. We can hire a landscaper because, you know, we've built room, just because of the priority. And so it's not even about the money. It's for us has been truly mindset and putting forth like the priority, and creating the life we want to live, not the life we have to live.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I love that. It's so this bookkeeping journey has so many people's lives in so many different ways. Just like you said, not just because of the money, but time freedom. There's so many different things. Let's see. Okay, so
I'm sorry, I'm like answering multiple questions at once. I'm sure.
yeah, no, that's okay though. That's perfect. All right. So what has been your favorite feature of the Academy?
So at first I listened to one of the mindset calls and then was like, I don't have time for this. I was just so overwhelmed and I don't. But then jumped in one Monday and we were reading a book I would never have read because it has cuss words in the title. I know, I'm that person. But someone gave a summary of it and I'm like, wait, I grew up around that mentality. I need to read this book. And that was like the start of changing my mindset. And since then I've gone back and devoured a lot of the books that you guys have read and done the summaries. So like, I was surprised at how impactful that has been. So that's just kind of a bonus, but my favorite part has been the office hours to just shortcut the efficiency. So I'm not, there's no reason you have to be up till 3 a.m. to do bookkeeping, right? And I was choosing to do that. I was like creating that myself, and that doesn't have to be the reality. So the office hours have helped me to, you know, reduce the time I'm spending, making it harder for myself than it needs to be. And it's helped me create boundaries. I think that was the main problem I was having was, you know, the overwhelm, the boundaries, and just showing up to the office hours has given me a lot of ideas on how to do that. And obviously now there's the boundary call, but just between, you know, I left for maternity leave in August and had someone from the group take over my clients, a couple of my clients that needed some work done, and you know, I made money that month anyway. And then came back, and I feel like that's really when I started my business, was like September, October, where I like really started, you know, getting clients and just coming back from maternity leave and got my
You had some
business
major
in order.
mindset changes in that time period, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And so that just, now I feel like I actually have a business and I'm a business owner and I know what I'm doing in my life.
Awesome. I love it. Love it. Okay. And what do you have any advice that you would give to anybody that's on the fence about joining the Academy or thinking about it right now?
If you want to do something with numbers, like if you're doing bookkeeping or something in those realms, I think it's a good option to have those coworkers. Yeah, I think my biggest hesitancy was to joining the Academy was because I had experience and because I could do the bookkeeping. I was wondering, is it even enough to help me? Like, is the mastermind my only option? Because it was definitely being portrayed to me when I started, like the mastermind's really what I needed. And I still don't doubt that. I just didn't get my business there quick enough to do that. Because I was cash flowing everything, and we knew that we were trying to do the house stuff. And that was part of what we wanted. So I think if you're wanting to do it efficiently, the academy is the option versus, because there are other options, right? Like there are other ways to do bookkeeping support, but I was on so many Facebook groups asking questions and trying to do it efficiently by, piecing together these other Facebook groups. I know I will get an answer that will actually solve my problem versus someone saying, well, if you don't know the answer, you shouldn't be doing bookkeeping, right?
Right.
So.
Awesome. Somebody asked what the book was that you mentioned earlier.
That one was Lucky Bee by Denise.
Denise Stutfield Thomas. So,
but also she had like a 5-day challenge right after that, and my husband listened to a lot of that challenge, and I had him do YouTube, so he was like a teammate in that book. So
yeah, awesome. All right, let's see. Tammy said, "Is it? I teach full time and love it. Is it possible to continue teaching 5 more?" Where'd the comment go? Hold on, let me find it. Okay, my comment. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. It's not pulling up there.
You're doing the one from Tammy. It says, I teach full time and I love it. Is it possible to continue teaching 5 more years or so and be a successful bookkeeper? My husband started an LLC painting company a few months ago, and I figured if I have a way to learn QuickBooks for his business, I might as well make money at it. Advice?
yeah, I think so, because you set the boundaries. So I think a lot of the people I'm answering, but I think a lot of people in the group do just do email support. And as I've gotten off the phone and do more email support and coaching my clients to, message me via email, I think there are some people in the group even that have full-time jobs and just do it at night. And I mean, you only need how many clients to do a good part-time income. So there's no reason that you can't do that, Tim.
There's very few of my clients that I actually talk to on a phone or a Zoom on a regular basis. It's mostly email or some kind of messaging platform.
Yeah, I agree. When I started out, I was working full time and stuff still. So if I had a chance on a lunch break or something, I would kind of call people back and things like that, or before or after work. But that was more I was working in the afternoons or on the weekends. And a lot of business owners are okay with that because a lot of what they're doing is during the day, during regular hours too. So they don't have time to worry about their bookkeeping during the day. That's why they're hiring you. So if they have the questions, the evening times, the weekends are always better for them anyway. Is kind of what I ran into, of course, now I kind of whatever works for my schedule and whatever works for their schedule because I'm doing bookkeeping full time. But when you're working full time,
it's important to set the boundaries too. You don't want them to reaching out to you all the time, but I have clients that will send me what I need at night and I just get to it the next day. But I know that's because that's when they have time to get to my questions, because they're out building fences during the day, not at a computer to answer my questions. So
yeah,
but you can definitely do it any time of the day.
Yeah, most definitely. And we have boundary Zoom calls once a month now. One of the mentors coaches those calls where she teaches how, because she had some issues in the beginning when setting boundaries with her clients. So this is everything she's kind of learned through the process, So we have Zoom calls around everything just about now. So any area of your business.
That was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I always forget about the new ones.
Yeah, we have so many new ones that's been at it for sure. All right, Leslie, how are you, ma'am?
And I apologize already for the mask. I'm sitting in an airport. proving we can do this anywhere. I
Yeah.
missed my first flight this morning, and so now I'm waiting on another flight. And so, anyways, it's been a nightmare already.
Oh no. But yes, definitely proof that you can do this anywhere.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so tell me a little bit about prior to starting the academy, kind of what you were doing and what kind of brought you into joining the academy.
Well, originally for 18 years, I was a stay-at-home mom. My ex-husband was a rancher, and so I did ranch work, but pretty much stay-at-home mom. We got a divorce 10 years ago, and so I went to work in the public, which was the first time I'd been in the public. It was in the medical field. I worked in a physical therapy office, and I did insurance authorization stuff. Abruptly, in July, I lost my job. Long story short, I was making quite a bit of money. They lost a project, so I was, it was easier to get rid of the one who makes the most money. The day that it happened, I was devastated because I did not go to college. I grew up, got married, had kids, my goal in life. And so immediately I was wondering, what am I gonna do? What am I going to pursue now with no degree? And the amount of money I had built up that I was making was from 7 years of working there. It wasn't because I started out at that. And so even though I had the knowledge, I didn't have letters and numbers behind me. So when it came down to applying for jobs, they were like, oh, we'll offer you such and such amount. And I'm like, no, my life is not based on that money anymore. It's based on what I've been making. So real quick, I figured out that I was not going to be able to make the money that I was making. I wanted to do something remotely. And so I just started looking. I couldn't really find anything right off the bat. And then I just happened to think about bookkeeping for whatever reason. And I just Googled bookkeeping, honestly. And Tiffany's thing popped up. And as I normally do, I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, and I watched it. And after I watched one, I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch another one. And I did that for 2 weeks, pretty much constant. Something kept leading me back to do it all the time. It was at that point that I'm just like, look, I'm bailing. I'm going for it. My parents supported my brother and my sister through college, and I never went to college. So I was like, hey, Mom, now's my college at 44.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she didn't hesitate. She put forth the money, which was a blessing, but it didn't matter. I was going to go get a loan for it. I mean, I was that determined on it. So mostly I tell people it was fate that led me to this, because I can't explain it any other way. I can't explain how great it felt to jump off in there, even though I was so terrified. So that's how I actually came to doing this. Just fate, I guess. I guess is the bottom line.
Awesome, awesome. Let's see. So, okay, so fate, let's see. So now that since you've joined the academy, what's your journey been like, and how has your life changed so far? You have not been in the academy as long as they have, so everything looks a little bit different.
No,
but you
yes.
on a good path. So.
September, I considered myself a business. I had my LLC and everything in September.
Okay.
I really bailed off and got everything set up. I really didn't do a whole lot of marketing in the beginning, mostly because I've never done bookkeeping. I did a little through our business of the ranch, but it was nothing like this. So I felt like there was so much learning I needed to do. And so I crammed myself with Tiffany's program, with the academy stuff. Then if there was something on there that I needed, that I wanted further, I'd get on YouTube and look up whatever that was. I'd get on some of the office calls, and a lot of the time in the beginning, it was very confusing because the terminology, what they were doing, I'd never seen or heard of that before. So it was almost like I was listening to Greek, watching something in Spanish and I don't speak Spanish. So I tried to slowly ease myself into the marketing side so that I did not get to the point that I was overwhelming myself or overwhelming my capabilities. So after 3 months, I also joined a BNI group. The BNI group was an adventure from the beginning because it's a brand new BNI group, which is not like joining one that's already established from what I've heard. Since then, I'm not a public speaker, so I'm learning a lot about that. I'm a lot more, I like to talk on the phone or, that sort of thing. Which was another reason why I really liked the bookkeeping was because, it was virtual. It was something I was not going to have to face-to-face go to people anymore, or deal with the public per se. So I think my mindset kind of dwindled, and I did watch Mindset, and I started reading some of the books. And my mindset did start going away. It did start because I kept beating myself up of, I don't have any clients. My unemployment is dropping. What am I going to do if I get to the end of this and I don't have clients? Where is my, I have no income, and I've set myself back from even going to build an income somewhere. But anyway, so that's when I got on a mindset call and had my hash out with you. And I did read Fear is My Homeboy, and I so recommend that to anybody, not just somebody in the bookkeeping, but just anybody in general. It's just there's just so many things to relate to in the book. And from there, I just started thinking, it is what it is. God has always provided for me. One day my preacher did a sermon on how much do you really need to get by? You may think you need it, but you don't actually need it. He'll provide it when it's time for it. And so that's what I've based this whole thing on, is in his time, it's going to happen. I have since then, I would say in less than a month, nothing to do with BNI. I've not done any kind of marketing through BNI, just my own LinkedIn and that sort of thing. In 1 week, I signed 2 clients. The next week I signed another client that I had talked to originally, but he wanted to wait till the beginning of the year. And since then I have had leads like crazy. And honestly, LinkedIn was a big thing of that. I just put myself out there, and it was like what they've said, I kept all these people that were like, I had my first client, and, y'all all saying, well, it'll snowball after that. And I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. I can't even get one client. But now that I have, it seems like, every day there's somebody else that at least are asking about it. I have a physical therapist that, he was like, I just want to know, he said, I'm going to branch out on my own. I just want to know, what you can do for me. So once again, I go back to there's the fate of it, but it's definitely something you have to have patience with. You have to have patience with yourself more than you have to have patience with the program.
Yes.
So
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. You are so right though. Let's see. All right. And so what's kind of been your favorite feature of the Academy so far?
I don't necessarily have a favorite. I just, the whole concept is just amazing to me. The whole thing of how she has this set up, and how, I use a lot. I know there's a lot of people that get on our group chat, and they ask questions or whatever. And even now, some of that is confusing to me, and I try to read them just so I can be familiar with them. And it's confusing because once again, you have to put into perspective that just because they're asking a question about something for their client, you may never have a client that needs that question answered. They are, all the jobs are totally different, and so you can't focus on that, which I think was also part of my problem. I was focusing too much on what everybody else was posting. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into? But I mean, I really think I don't really have a favorite. I just like the whole way the whole program is set up, the whole process is set up. I use a lot of just going to the questions, you know, or the Zooms from before. If I have a question, you know, I rarely do I ask a question on the group chat, because if I just look a little bit, the questions are answered. And I like that, you know, I like not having to bother other people, you know.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so do you have any advice for those who might be on the fence right now about joining?
No, I mean, I honestly think that I think it's a calling. I think it's something that if it's going to jump out to you, if you're someone who is nervous about, you know, the internet, or nervous about what, you know, people put, whether it's a scam or not, which was one of the things I was so terrified of. I didn't mention that earlier, but one of the things that on the remote side, I was applying for things and I was getting hits. I mean, people were wanting, you know, to talk to me or whatever, but none of them felt right. And none of them felt safe to me, you know? And so this, for whatever reason, did. It's legit. I studied it and looked at it and looked stuff up before I decided to do it. And as far as being on the fence, I think it's something that it's got to be something within you. It's got to, whether or not you're doing it for the sake of a part-time job, a full-time job, a career, or whatever you're doing it for. I think it just has to be, you know, like a calling. I think some of it will fall into place if you do have a calling for it. Another thing I didn't mention, you know, when all that happened and I was so upset about losing my job, and I just kept thinking, well, first my boyfriend said, well, God just did for you what you wouldn't do for yourself, because I wouldn't quit, and he'd been trying to get me to quit. So that was another kind of lead thing. And it was not 2 weeks after I signed up for the academy that my daughter told me she was pregnant. So the fact that now she's a coach, she's going to have a baby in March and be out in the summer. But the fact that now I'm going to be able to have that baby at home when she goes back to school, I'm like, once again, God's just showing me this is the path I'm supposed to be on. This is what's supposed to happen. And so I think that's the biggest advice I have is if it's something that's in your heart, do it. You know, is it hard? It was hard for me, and I didn't have a job. Is it going to be hard for someone who has a job? Absolutely. If you have kids, absolutely. And I think I've talked to you about it before, you know, just having a boyfriend is difficult sometimes because he is a coach as well. And so I just want to spend my time with him when, you know, it was kind of one of those things that I focused on when he gets home. I put everything down and focus on that. And so that's kind of been something, and I don't think he cares as much as what I've cared, what I've put the pressure on myself, because he knows what the end result, you know, the end result's going to be.
Right.
So my advice is just follow your heart. I really think that's a big thing. If it's something that keeps pushing at you, you know, you're not gonna sink doing it for sure. But it does take work, it does take effort.
Yep. Yes, most definitely. And y'all, we are here for every step of the way in the academy. You know, any issues that come up with it, just kind of like Leslie mentioned, trying to figure out time management and stuff like that. We talk about stuff like that all the time, and bounce ideas off of each other, because sometimes we need help too and need new ideas and things. So it's always like an open discussion on all of our Zoom calls and stuff to like, hey, what do you need help with today, kind of thing. So we want to be there to help in every area of the calls and stuff. Let me check and see if we have any more. I don't think we have any more questions on here. Okay, does anybody else have anything else they want to share before we hop off? I don't see any more questions. Chelsea, thank you for answering the ones that were in the chat or in the live.
I put the books. I can remember. I'm terrible at names, so I don't have the authors, but I put the books names on there.
Yeah, that should be perfect. They should be able to find them from those.
The first step is Hannah, do it. Do it. I'm reading the comments.
Yeah.
If you haven't
Yeah.
booked a discovery call, do that first.
Yeah, and they'll be able to help you as far as financing goes and come up with ideas to get funding and stuff like that, for sure. So that will definitely be your first step for sure. But yeah, I agree with Chelsea. Definitely do it. It's been so life-changing for so many people, building this business.
We're also, so I put I put mine on a credit card when I joined, but also we're coming into refund season. So if you know that you're going to have a refund and that stresses you out, because I know I think I paid off mine like within a month of joining, and that might help too. Like, if
Yes, for
someone-
sure.
Just a heads up, like,
Yeah,
forward
definitely.
thinking, future thinking.
Yeah, definitely something to keep in mind for sure. And definitely invest, have that refund come and invest in yourself, invest in your future, would be definitely the way to go for that. Let's see, Shauna said, how do you get your clients? What is the main pitch to potentials? And what is the common reason for being turned down?
I find all my clients pretty much all on Facebook. I have found a few through referrals. But mostly I find business owners and I talk to them. There's so many business owners out there that need help. And it's all a numbers game. Like, not everyone you're going to talk to needs help. So I friend a lot of business owners. I went from about 200 friends on my Facebook to now I have over 3,000. And those are all business owners. Sort of thing. And not everyone who accepted my friendship has even talked to me. Yes,
Right.
thank you. And not everyone I have talked to has become a client. But I've also, since I've talked to that many people, I have people starting to come to me. I haven't done a lot of marketing in the last couple months because I signed 7 clients in 1 month. So I've had a lot of cleanups to do. My anniversary month, I had a special and it paid off. But they're still reaching out to me. I've still signed new clients since then, even though I haven't done the marketing. The biggest reason for them turning you down, their mindset, they don't know the value of what you're doing.
Yep.
And so we say, so the more money a company makes, the more they're going to see your value, actually. The cheaper people aren't going to see your value, and you're probably not, they're going to be the more pain in your butt too. So if they don't see your value, that's fine. They're going to be more of a pain, and they might come back too. Another reason is if they do shop around, they might just click with someone else. It's why I give multiple CPAs as references, because not everyone clicks. I have someone who's in the academy that lives like 20 minutes away from me. So we give quotes out sometimes, and we usually quote about the same. And sometimes she gets it, sometimes I get it. So
Yeah, that's definitely one thing. It's not, when you're talking to potentials, they're not interviewing you, you're interviewing them too, in a sense, because you want to make sure it's a good fit on both sides, so it's not always just them telling you no. Sometimes you're telling them no.
I was listening to Grant Cardone yesterday, and he does a lot of sales training. Sorry, Leslie. And he mentioned, if you go too low, nobody wins. You both lose. So I've gotten to a point where I'm definitely more okay with being turned down, and moving on to the next potential.
Yep. We've had people in the academy say that people have turned them down because they quote it too low or lower than somebody else. Because a lot of times when you go buy something, you're not necessarily buying the cheapest thing on the shelf or the cheapest service or whatever like that, because you know what that means. You're not getting the best deal. So it's not always about the price necessarily.
yeah, I've told people I'm not the cheapest, but I'm not the most expensive either. I try to be kind of in the middle, because you don't want they can get cheap accounting off of Fiverr and stuff, but it's not always done right.
Right.
So they'll
know
know
I
your
use-
value. So go ahead.
LinkedIn has been my thing. Why? I don't know. I had no idea about LinkedIn until any of this all started. I started out with people connections, and like weekly I would just go and add 30 or 40 business owners. I'd just look for business owners and I'd click to connect. Well, so if they connected back with me, I had a little script that was already copy paste, and I copy pasted it. Just that was it, sent it out. Of the 30, 40, you get 1 or 2 people. Next week I'd do the same exact thing. Now I have a ton of connections, close to 1,000. And it's amazing. Some of the people that will, they just say, hey, I saw this, I saw your post. What do you have? This is a great time of the year for this, or I'm wanting to change up, or I want to do something different. So that in itself for me has been the best. Most of them have ended up being kind of local. I say local as in, 300 or 400 miles. It's not like I have one guy from Maryland. So it's neat to me to get to know people and their cultures. It's just kind of a neat thing just on that. The funniest one I remember is whoever has the one, I think it's you, Chelsea, that has the worm farm.
Yes, I have a worm farm.
Who would have ever thought? There are plenty of options of jobs out there, obviously.
Yeah,
but
she's my
as far as
e-commerce client, but yes,
yeah,
he has a worm farm and sells stuff. It's fun. We had to figure out what a worm tea bag was.
And it's oh Lord. But and as far as turning down, I've had a few turn me down. Most of the ones that were turned me down though were when I first started, and I think it's honestly because I didn't represent myself. I went into it scared. I didn't really know what to say. They could sense my fear. They could sense that I kind of was struggling. Since that time, I kind of just wing it. And that's what everybody has said. You got to wing it. It does get easier each time. I honestly like to have emails rather than discovery calls or text, because once again, I can do a whole lot on a piece of paper. I'm just not a very quick thinker, public speaking. But as far as turn downs, those were the ones that really I had to turn downs, was just in the beginning. And I think it was on me. I don't think it was, them not wanting the bookkeeping business. But I was going to say too, one of the things that on the bookkeeping, if you join the bookkeeping, it's like a puzzle. You're going to read a whole lot of stuff and it's not going to make any sense. And you just have to keep reading. You have to keep, and even if you have to go back and look at it again, and you have to keep doing that, because once you click with one thing, well, then it'll bring back your memory of something you read that'll click with something else. And so the whole academy is broke down into bits and pieces, and the bits and pieces don't make sense by themselves. But once you start putting them all together, and then once you get a client, it all really starts making sense. And at first I thought, no, these people are crazy. This is never going to make sense. I'm never going to get, they are doing it because they know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm never going to get this. And there's still so much I have to learn. But I feel as far as the knowledge part, I know the knowledge part. It's just now putting it together with the client. And so that part of the puzzle is still something I'm working on. But I think that's one of the big things for people that join is don't give up in the very beginning, because, oh my gosh, this sounds confusing. Because eventually, I promise, it really does come together.
Yes, most definitely. I agree completely. Let's see. Courtney said, this may be a silly question, but what kind of computer or laptop do you feel is best for doing bookkeeping and running your business? I
use anything.
Yeah, mine's a HP. I think the biggest thing is just you need an internet connection is really the only biggest must have, with doing this, because you have to, we use QuickBooks Online. Most people do, so
being able to have Excel has helped too.
Yeah.
But I know people have found ways around that too.
Yeah, there's ways where, yep.
But yeah, Everything
Well,
I
I have
do
a
is
Mac.
either
I have a
at a
Mac,
Mac.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I use Excel on there as well. But I like my Mac, and it's just a small computer. Once I get going, I hope to, get bigger. But the reason why I like my Mac is because my phone connects right to it. Anything I'm looking at on one thing, I can immediately, it's right on my computer. So that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind I have. My husband picked it out for me. He's my IT, so but I have 2 screens now, so that's what I keep looking at the other screen, and that's life-changing too.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the next question, can you ladies share how many hours you're currently working per week and your corresponding revenue if you feel comfortable?
So my take-home pay, which is after my expenses, which my expenses are not high. Expenses for this business are not high. I have about $100 a month, and then for monthly stuff I do, and some of that you don't even have to have. And then I have a few things other annually, like my website and stuff. But after my expenses and saving for taxes, my take-home pay is somewhere, it's over 3K, but under 4 right now. It might be 4 next month. I don't remember exactly. Yeah. So my take home was right under 4K. I looked at my notes. And I work hour and a half in the morning, and then I would work for 2 to 3 hours during nap time that just started to be
Having fun.
non-existent this week. We gave up naps this week, so that's a new process. We're having quiet time now. Well, not right now, but right now, supposedly lunchtime. But and then so I work like 3 to 5 hours a day, maybe. Sometimes less than that, depending if I am waiting on people to get back to me. There's days it's like you work 2 hours and then there's nothing, but it's all what you want to do. It's can be on your schedule. Like I have that time in the morning, then I have nap time, quiet time, and then I have office hours that I always work during when we have nighttime office hours. So you can very much do it around your schedule. It doesn't have to be like I have to sit down 9 to 5, but so that's not, it's but yeah, I make my, before taxes and everything, I'm just under 7K a month. After I save for taxes and everything, I'm about 4K a month, and I work anywhere 4 to 6 hours a day, depending on what I want to do. Sometimes that's not all bookkeeping. Sometimes that's making my marketing posts or sending out emails to remind people of end of the year things, or so it's not always all bookkeeping. And I have also quite a few cleanups I'm working on because I have clients that signed up in the beginning of the year that haven't gotten me anything but have paid me.
Yeah, cleanup jobs always take a little bit longer than your regular monthly stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Leslie, Shauna wants to know how many clients you have since you just started in September.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. My revenue is not really there yet because I have just really signed them. I have 2 or 3 that I have signed ready to go. One of those is actually starting the first of the year, even though, they've already signed up. And then I have 4 or 5, I can't remember, that are checking. They're pretty for sure, but they're just checking, their final other people to make sure that's what they want to do. But yeah, right now I have 3. As far as working on it, the one guy that's my construction guy, he is just now getting the information, and he's been signed for 2 weeks now. But I'm waiting on him. I'm waiting on him to get me on. He has QuickBooks, but get me on the bank accounts and send me all this stuff. I just had my first one-on-one Monday to discuss that and what I really need to get or whatever. The other 2 are going to be actually set them up originally from QBO. I have not, I've got their money and stuff, but I don't have any of that set up. once again, they're going to be at the start of the year. So my hourly time right now is, I won't put it into working because most of mine has been marketing at this point. But and it kind of depends. Like I said, my coach my daughter and my boyfriend are both coaches. So, part of me doing this is to be at their thing. So I do a lot at the coaching stuff. But I'd say maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. Of course, not today. I'm in an airport, but so, but yeah, 2 to 3 hours a day. And right now, I really couldn't even tell you my revenue because there's really not a revenue yet. I'm just banking on what it's going to be.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, somebody said cleanups scare them. They're not that bad. And we have, that's the beauty of the academy. You have breakout sessions, you have one-on-ones for your first client, you have all those things. So there's no reason to be scared because you constantly have mentors that are there helping you every step of the way.
And if you have all the information, it can be quick. I've gotten a rush cleanup job done in 6 hours before, because he gave me all the information and he knew he had to answer my questions. It's the only reason it drags out is when they at first give you information and give you what you need, and then they don't, because they get busy doing their business.
Well, and like this construction guy I have, he's had QBO and he's kind of been doing it off and on himself. But I'm looking forward to the cleanup and like the cleanup part strictly because I'm able to learn his business. I'm able to really get in to figure out what everything is and how he does this and how he does that, so that we can get that cleared up before the first year. I know if it's somebody new that just has QBO or whatever, just starting, but I like it because I'm getting to know their program, what they're doing. And I just feel like once I do a cleanup, I'm going to feel like I'm better prepared for that client.
Definitely. Yep. You definitely know that's how you get to know, like, even businesses in the same industry are going to be different because of how they run it. But that's how you get to know their specific business.
Yep, for sure. Melissa said, how much do you typically charge for a cleanup? So to say typically, that's hard to say. We help in the academy if you join the academy with quoting and stuff. But I mean, it really varies. It depends on, like, I always figure out whatever my monthly rate would have been and kind of charge based off of that. Because some people just need a couple months cleanup. Some people need a whole year. Some people have needed 10 years cleanup. It just depends on what that particular client needs. So there's not really a typical price. We've had people in the academy get $20,000 cleanup jobs. It just depends on what type of client you run into, what size client they are, things along those lines. So you just never know. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions. Did y'all have anything else y'all wanted to add before we hop off? Nope. All right. Well, thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all hopping on with me today.
Thank you. I'm gonna sit in this airport.
Yeah, have fun. Did you get a precious little kitty out of it?
Oh, question just came through about the format.
What's the format? The format of the activity of the academy. So there is pre-recorded videos, and we so Tiffany goes over like a year's worth of how to do bookkeeping. And you can watch that at your own pace, sort of thing. You can watch it on a computer, you can watch it on your phone, I've seen people put it up on their TVs and watch it. And then we have the live office hours that you can get in and talk. And those are all recorded also. So they're put into the database where you can watch them later, and you can look up in the database if you're looking for a specific thing. Like if you're looking up for inventory or real estate, you can type that in and it'll pull it up.
Yep. Did y'all see any more questions?
Best way to get new clients. We kind of went over that already. If you rewatch this, it'll be in the group again. But there's a lot of different ways. There's Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's BNIs, networking groups. You just have to kind of find what works best for you. But we do have marketing calls that we talk about all that in the academy. So
Yep, and there's definitely a whole marketing section
yes.
in the course and stuff as well. So yep. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Well, thank y'all so much, ladies. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good
Thanks.
day. Bye.
You too.
Bye. Have a good day.